ever thought that a channel that's all about music would have some of the creepiest bumpers imaginable? Hey everyone, this is Rabbit's Blog Animation Bliss, and welcome to another animated top series. So today's top 10 video I'll be doing today is my top 10 creepiest MTV bumpers. So a few years back, I did a top 10 video on my top 10 weirdest Nickelodeon bumpers. And after I did that video, I was thinking to myself, maybe I should do a top 10 video on MTV bumpers. Because as I noticed, the MTV bumpers, especially the ones that came out in the 1980s and the 1990s, were some of the creepiest bumpers ever. And I was like, okay, let's do a top 10 list on my top 10 creepiest MTV bumpers. And man, there's a lot of creepy MTV bumpers out there that I think that I may have to do a part 2 to this list pretty soon. But for now, we're just going to focus on these top 10 creepiest MTV bumpers. And before we get into this video, here are a few things. Number 1. This video is based off of my personal opinions, so there might be some MTV bumpers in this video that you guys may not agree with. And number 2, because this is the top 10 creepiest MTV bumpers, that means that there's going to be lots of violent and scary imagery in this video. So if you are not a fan of scary imagery or violent imagery, then you might want to steer clear of this video. However, if you're fine with violent imagery and scary imagery, then keep watching this video. And now let's get into this video. So the MTV Godzilla bumper was pretty unique to me. It basically has the MTV logo being giant size and rampaging throughout the city. And what makes this bumper pretty creepy to me was the music itself. Like, the music sounded really creepy in this bumper, and I think it fits very well with the Godzilla-like nature of this bumper. So I definitely put the Godzilla MTV bumper on this list. So MTV Show for Lonely Woman, the reason why I found this bumper to be pretty creepy was because of the images of the two human characters and the horse overlooking the cowboy guy, and they have such menacing looks on their faces. And then the part when these snakes come out of their mouths and ends up disintegrating the cowboy guy was pretty creepy as well. So I definitely found this bumper to be really creepy, mostly because of the two humans and the horse overlooking the cowboy guy in such a menacing way. So the butler bumper basically has the butler's face change into all these different shapes and forms, and a lot of the facial expressions that the butler has are pretty scary and creepy to look at, and that's why this particular bumper is on this list, because of the butler's many changing faces and how creepy they all look. And just to note, this particular bumper was directed by Henry Selick, who would go on to direct movies like The Nightmare Before Christmas and Coraline. So Monkey Haircut was another MTV bumper that was directed by Henry Selick, and the reason why I found this bumper to be really creepy was mostly because of the skeleton monkey that chopped off the guy's hair to make it shape up into the MTV logo. And even though the part about the skeleton monkey chopping up the man's hair wasn't really that scary in of itself, the fact that there was a skeleton monkey in this particular bumper made this bumper really scary to look at. So Taco M is yet another bumper that was directed by Henry Selick, and this one was really creepy because it shows the guy looking like a puppet, and the way that the guy looks in this particular bumper, he looks really creepy. And then of course when he starts spitting out fire for his toast, that was probably the creepiest part of the bumper, as there's lots of loud sounds accompanied by the man spitting out fire. And again, the man just looks really weird and creepy throughout the short because he looks like a mannequin who's being held up by strings and stuff like that. So the Jack in the Box bumper is directed by Voltaire, and this was a pretty creepy bumper because all the creatures in this bumper look very scary. And of course you have the ending of the bumper where in the Jack in the Box out pops this really scary looking guy, and it kind of provided a bit of a jump scare towards the end of the bumper. So that's why I found this bumper to be really creepy, because of the scary looking guy that pops out of the Jack in the Box towards the end of the bumper. So the Guillotine bumper is probably one of the most unsettling bumpers on this list, as we have the bumper end up with this really scary looking head that's shaped like the MTV logo, and yet this guy's head just looks very decayed and everything, and that's why this particular bumper is so high up on my list. So the Atama bumper is probably the most violent bumper on this list, as the bumper ends with the guy's face exploding because of all these people coming into the guy's mouth and eyes and everything, after the guy was trying to eat this pie, and all these little people came up and started coming into the guy's face, and it caused his face to explode. So yeah, I found this bumper to be really creepy and very violent at the same time. So Puppets Out the Window is another bumper that was directed by Henry Selick, and I think that this is one of the creepiest bumpers on the list, as it features all of these weird looking dolls just trying to go about their own business, and then they see a cat at the window, and then all of a sudden all the dolls get sucked out of the window, and then you have this really scary soundtrack that happens when the dolls get sucked out of the window. So I found this bumper to be really creepy. So before I get into my number one creepiest MTV bumper, here are a few words from the channel. All aboard the Animated Social Media Express. Want to send some tweets my way? Then follow me on Twitter. Want to join our special animation community? Then join our Discord group, Animation Bliss. Want to see more updates on our YouTube videos? Then check out our Facebook group, Animation Bliss. Want to download on everything going on with this channel? Then check all of the above. And now, back to the video. So I found the Abyss Creature bumper the creepiest bumper of all because of the jump scare that happens at the end of this bumper, where you have this diver going under the sea, and then it comes across this light, and then all of a sudden it gets swallowed up by this scary looking creature. So yeah, I found the Abyss Creature bumper to be the creepiest MTV bumper ever. So those are my top 10 creepiest MTV bumpers. And I find it really surprising that MTV, which is a channel that was supposed to be mostly about music, at least in the 1980s and the 1990s, had some of the creepiest bumpers out there. And this is probably just going to be part 1, because there's a lot more scary bumpers out there that I didn't get to in this list. So yeah, be on the lookout for a possible part 2 to this list, since there's way more scary bumpers out there than the ones I cover on this list. But yeah, I found it very interesting that there's a lot of creepy bumpers on MTV, and I was just really happy to go through all these bumpers. So those are my top 10 creepiest MTV bumpers, and tell me in the comments down below, what are some of the creepiest MTV bumpers you came across? Please let me know in the comments down below. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is Rabbit's Blog Animation Bliss, and I'll see you guys later. Hey animation fans, like this video? If you want to see more animated content from this channel, then please hit that big old animated subscribe button so that you can get more awesome content from this channel.